Hello, my name is Alicia, and welcome to my Unnoticed Evil channel where I talk about the hidden evils in culture. And the topic for today is going to be, what is a good person? So have you ever heard someone say he did that terrible thing, but otherwise he is a good person? What can cause otherwise good people to do bad things? Well, one example could be emotional distress. Anger, fear, or some other strong emotion can cause a person to lose control and do things that he or she would not normally do. For example, when people are angry or in a bad mood, they're more likely to snap at people, including people who have done nothing to them. When life is easy, however, people tend to be nicer. Does that mean that you are a righteous person on one day and a bad person on another day? Well, no, because behavior is a function of multiple factors. Now, manipulation and deception are other factors that can cause otherwise good people to do bad things. We have heard of religious cults manipulating and deceiving people into doing bad things for their God. Mental illness is yet another factor. However, a bad deed committed by a mentally ill person can still be a manifestation of evil in someone's character, because even a mentally ill person can have evil intentions. So to determine whether a bad deed is a representation of one's true character, we can ask the following questions. 1. Was the person perfectly calm when he or she committed the bad deed? 2. Is there evidence that the person was being manipulated or deceived? 3. Did the person know full well what he or she was doing? And 4. Did the person feel any remorse afterwards? Note that someone may have been influenced by another person into committing the bad deed, but influence is not the same as manipulation. Also note, people who show remorse may only be pretending. But if the person does not show signs of any remorse, then chances are there is no remorse and the bad deed is most likely a representation of the person's true character. Now on television we see many examples of good people doing bad things and also bad people doing bad things. For example, in Star Wars, when Anakin Skywalker's mother dies in his arms, Anakin becomes very angry and heartbroken. In this moment of intense emotion, he proceeds to kill men, women, and children, as you can see in this video here.
Oh, my grown-up son. I'm so proud of you, honey.
I missed you.
Now I am complete.
I love. I love.
So is this a representation of Anakin's true character? While Anakin does end up turning to the dark side, at the time Anakin was still good at heart. He only committed those murders because he was so angry and upset. Furthermore, he remarked afterwards that he knows better than that, as you can see in this clip here.
To be angry is to be human.
I'm a Jedi. I know I'm better than this.
Now, the many terrible deeds that Anakin did as Darth Vader were a representation of his true character. Darth Vader was perfectly calm when he did these wicked deeds, and of course he did not show any remorse afterwards. Darth Vader certainly knew full well what he was doing, and Darth Vader could have abandoned his allegiance to the Emperor of the dark side at any time. Now, Darth Vader did turn good again. This is because people's character can change over time. Now, another TV example, the 1990s Merlin TV series, where Merlin wants to help Sir Lancelot become one of the king's knights. But there is a problem, though, as you can see in this clip here.
Well,
Did you speak to him?
Yeah, I spoke to him.
And?
And he said he would like to meet you.
Yes! Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, it's no problem, really. It's nothing. You're not a nobleman by any chance, are you?
A nobleman? No. Good Lord, no. Why'd you ask?
It's just that there's
The
this...
first code of Camelot states that only those of noble blood could serve as a knight. Uther created the knights to protect this kingdom from those who wished to destroy it. He knew he would have to trust each of his knights with his life, so he chose them from the families that had sworn allegiance to him.
nobility.
And thus the first code of Camelot was born, and ever since that day, only the sons of noble families have served as knights.
That is not fair.
Fair or unfair, that's the way it is.
So, to help Sir Lancelot overcome this obstacle, Merlin finds a way to deceive the King of Camelot into believing that Sir Lancelot is of noble birth, even though he is not, as you can see in this clip here.
What's that?
This is your seal of nobility.
I don't understand.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Lancelot, fifth son of Lord Eldred of Northumbria.
No, Merlin, no.
Oh, right, so you don't want to be a knight then?
Of course I do.
But what? The rules don't allow it. Damn the rules. The rules are wrong.
But it's a lie. It's against everything the knights stand for.
You have as much right to be a knight as any man. I know it.
But the rules, Merlin.
We're not breaking the rules. We're bending them. That's all. You get your foot in the door, but after that, you'll be judged on your merit alone. And if you succeed, if they make you a knight, it'll be because you have earned it, noble or not. I can't change the way things are done around here. But you can.
So, is this deceptive scheme a representation of Merlin's true character? Well, Merlin was perfectly calm when he did this deed. Merlin was not being manipulated or deceived. Merlin did know full well what he was doing. He called it bending the rules. And, well, Merlin did regret his decision afterwards, but it may have only been because they got caught. Now, Sir Lancelot, in contrast, had to actually be pushed into going along with this deceptive scheme. Sir Lancelot also showed genuine remorse for what he had done afterwards. And Sir Lancelot owned responsibility for his actions, even though he could have blamed Merlin. Sir Lancelot decided he was not worthy to be one of the king's knights, and he left. Now, when we do have reason to believe that a bad deed is a representation of someone's true character, then there's something to think about. Let us say that you see a cockroach scurrying across your kitchen floor. Are you going to assume that this cockroach must be the only one in your house or place of residence just because it's the only one you see? Well, people who are familiar with bug infestations know that if you see a member of an invasive insect species on your kitchen floor, there are going to be numerous others in hidden places. The same applies to when a person does a bad deed, and we have reason to believe that the bad deed is a representation of a person's true character. If the person has proven him or herself capable of the bad deed, then you can bet there is more where that came from. In other words, you can expect more bad deeds to follow. So what about a good deed? Does a good deed necessarily come from good within a person? Well, obviously, good deeds can have ulterior motives. Is a person intentionally doing a good deed for all to see and blowing a trumpet on his wonderful accomplishment? For example, announcing it on social media? Or does he keep it quiet? What sacrifices does the person have to make to do the good deed? Is there anything in it for them? Now, there is a phenomenon which I call giving your conscience an orgasm. It's when you do a good deed to feel good about yourself, but not necessarily because you genuinely care about other people. These people who give their conscience an orgasm may do what appears to be a good deed, but they don't always think about the ramifications, because in the end they just want to feel good about themselves, but their real motive is not as much to help people as maybe it should be. Now, in terms of good person versus bad person, what about shades of gray? Even when we admit that there is evil in the heart of someone close to us, we still want to believe that this person is not really a bad person. and is instead a good person overall. Now, while the Bible distinguishes between the righteous and the wicked, outside of the Bible, the definition of a good person versus bad person can be kind of fuzzy. Sometimes it can seem more like a spectrum, with good person at one end and bad person at the other end. Similar to, for example, tall person versus short person. And somebody at a certain height might be considered tall in some circles of people, and average height in other circles. Now, people would say that you are a good person if there is a lot of good in you, and not too much bad. Perhaps we are a good person as long as there is more good than bad, maybe more than 50% good and less than 50% bad. Some people do not want to believe that a loved one of theirs is just bad. A mother may refuse to believe that her son is a bad person, even though he shows all the signs of being a bad person. As long as she sees at least some good in him, she will tell herself that he is good at heart, even though there is clearly more bad in him than good. The problem is that if we define a good person as anybody who has any good in them at all, then the good person label just doesn't mean anything anymore. Pretty much everybody has some good in them, even the cold-blooded killers. So in my opinion, a good person is one who, on a consistent basis, tries to do the right thing. Now, points of weakness, a good person may give into the temptation to do something wrong, but he or she will feel remorse afterwards and make an honest effort to do better next time. Thank you for watching.